fact-checking team is putting some of today's most viral kitchen hacks to the test to separate fact. I am so enjoying this show, Fact or Fiction, because I know this will create discord in your home when you start talking about this. Leading the way now is Lon Lamb from America's Test Kitchen. From TV shows to magazines, podcasts, America's Test Kitchen is a multimedia cooking resource with a dedicated team of test cooks, editors, and product testers who spend their days tweaking every variable to find the very best recipes, equipment, and ingredients. And our first test, welcome to the show, first of all. Thank you, darling.
Thank you.
Our first test is one that I run into all of the time. I love mushrooms, but there's this theory that you can't wash mushrooms because they absorb water like a sponge. Before you answer, fact or fiction? All right, so we have the mushrooms.
We do. We're going to do a little experiment together. I have 8 ounces of mushrooms here, and they've been sitting in this bowl of water for a lot longer than they normally would if you were just washing them, right? So I'm going to drain off this water. We're doing a lot of washing on this segment, aren't we?
I love it. Well, they were dirty, so
they
that's
sure
fine.
were. So I'm going to pop them in a salad spinner just to kind of pull off all the water off of
Because
the
again,
surface.
the theory is that by now, these mushrooms would have absorbed the water like a sponge. I see you nodding your head, okay?
All right. So,
all right.
Moment of truth.
Moment of truth. We started with 8 ounces. We soaked them in water. Oh.
9?
9.2.
So, wait, let's think about this. That's 1.2 ounces of water.
Right.
It's 2 tablespoons. If you had a sponge that big and it picked up 2 tablespoons of water, it's a bad sponge, right? So the reason people are worried about this is when you go to try to brown mushrooms to develop all of that flavor.
Water is the enemy of cooking.
It just prevents flavor development. Mushrooms aren't going to pick up that much water. And I was actually developing some recipes for sautéed mushrooms. Turns out that if you get a little water in early instead of oil, you use less water and you get better color and better flavor.
Okay. So the question is, you can't wash mushrooms because they absorb water like a sponge. The final conclusion of it is?
Fiction.
It's fiction.
Fiction.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I love it. All right. Yeah. That's good. Our next test. Using a sharp knife over a dull knife when cooking onions can help reduce crying. Fact or fiction? Let our audience chime in. Interesting.
Love it.
They say this is fiction. Okay.
So we're gonna have a little science lesson here.
Okay.
When you cut an onion, you are taking a knife to it and you're breaking its cells, right? Onion doesn't want this. It has a chemical defense system. You break those cells and these sulfide compounds get released. They come up and they get into your eyes.
So this is the onion saying, don't eat me.
Yes.
Okay.
Too bad though, because onions are so tasty. Come on.
Too bad, onion.
Right? Like French onion soup.
Right.
So
Ask
delicious.
my son. He's a huge onion fan. Okay. So what do we do?
We did a little experiment. Tamron, you're just going to smell these 2 onions. One was cut with a sharp knife and one with a dull knife.
Okay. I don't know which is which. This has a distinct onion smell.
Yeah, right? And
like significantly different.
you know, this was cut with a dull knife. It's just you've damaged a lot more cells that way. You've released a lot more chemicals. If you want, you can use goggles, but it can't be
got time for that?
Right, can't be safety glasses. You got to fully cover your eyes.
We know what has time for that. So the bottom line is, here's the question. Using a sharp knife over a dull knife when cutting onions can help reduce crying. It is
fact. It's fact. It's fact.
Fact. It is a fact. So sharpen your knife when you're getting ready to cut your onions. There you have it. And the great Suzanne Summers once told me, if you do start crying, she said, put your head in the freezer and it freezes up the tear gland. That's what she told me. Suzanne Summers, God bless.
Oh my gosh.
God bless. She told me that 30 years ago in morning TV. I never forgot it. Okay, the next one, the last thing. We're testing. You need a big pot of boiling water to properly cook pasta. Earlier, you cooked both of these pastas. One was cooked with the traditional way in a big pot of boiling water. The second was cooked using the little hack, cooking the pasta with only a quart of cold water. So Let me ask the audience, fact or fiction? Fiction. Okay, you got to divide it. Okay, you need a big pot. So, because I always, I get a big pot, I salt it, I put the lid on, I boil it up, and get the thing going. So, you walk us through this.
Right. So I'm going to have you try both of these pastas. One was cooked one way, one was cooked the other. You tell me if they taste different.
Oh gosh, okay. I never turn down an opportunity to eat.
By the way, while you're tasting, I'm going to tell you about this dish. This is pasta alla zozzona. It's this Italian Roman pasta. It's got sausage, spicy tomato sauce, a bunch of cheese.
You had me at sausage.
Oh, it's a bunch of onions. It's delicious. You're thinking about this, aren't you?
I have a distinct preference, and it's this one.
Okay.
I don't know why. It feels better. This feels
creamy.
a little more gummier to me. It's not al dente, you know. It just, I don't know. I'm not rocking with this one.
Yeah.
This one I like a lot.
Well, this was actually some testing that I did because a friend was like, I never bother with a big pot of water, and it always turns out fine. And it's like, look at the reveal.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen anything. So the one I don't care for, the pasta in cold water, I did not like. I like the pasta in hot water.
You know. Radically different or a little different?
For me, I thought it was radically different.
Okay.
The taste of the texture of the pasta was more pleasing with this. The sausage was amazing in both, but I feel that this was better.
So it takes a little practice to do it this way, but the benefits are you're using less water, and for those who live in drought-prone areas, it's something you want to think about. It also takes a lot less time. You can shave off half of the cook time when you use a cold start. It takes a little bit of practice to know when to take the pasta out of the water. I think that's the trickiest part.
Okay.
But in the end, it's just, there's a lot of savings there.
There's a lot. Okay, so here's the question. You need a big pot of boiling water to properly cook pasta. You say?
I say fiction.
Our expert says fiction. I like to say, this is the best part of this show. Each of our experts has been heckled by the TAM.
Oh my gosh. Fantastic.
But guess what? I love you. I love it. Go home, give it a try, and guess what? This is how you know you can give it a try, Tam Fam. You can put these proven kitchen skills to use while trying out these recipes, because guess what? You're all going home with America's Test Kitchen 25th anniversary cookbook. Look how big this thing is. I can barely carry it. You're going home with it. You won the crowd back with that. Thank you so much.